we are, everyone.
1992.
Ooh, we are starting a musical episode. Look at you. I like it.
I don't know what that song is.
Okay.
But...
Maybe we should start that with each episode.
Okay.
You know, just Aaron singing the year.
Now, there was immediate pressure, and I was like, I can't do that. 2 seconds in, I was like, I cannot.
We'll just take 1999 and just change the
Okay,
lyrics.
yeah,
just change the year
there
to.
we
Copyright be damned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Trademark, ha.
Yeah.
I laugh in the face.
Well, yeah, as Aaron sang so beautifully, our episode this week is about 1992.
I was like, when did I sing? That's what I thought. This is where I'm at this morning. Oh, boy.
We did see each other last night, all three of us, with some other folks, to witness your husband and the glory that is the Des Moines Gay Men's Chorus. It was a delightful show.
It was.
There's a lot of singing then. So it's a lot of pressure on you to be singing right now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was just so wonderful. And I just...
The spirit moved you, obviously.
Obviously.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's moved them so much, they appeared on friggin' Kelly Clarkson.
Uh-huh.
It was a great little clip.
It
One
was a
degree
great little
away.
clip. What?
We're 1 degree away from Kelly Clarkson.
Oh my God, we are.
That's true. And she gave them $1,000.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful.
That's wonderful. Which goes directly to T-shirts? I don't know.
Taxes?
T-shirts. Because they were all wearing like special T-shirts last night. Maybe it pays for their T-shirts.
Yeah, that could be. Okay, yeah.
Don't laugh at me.
I'm
and
sorry.
my T-shirts.
I'm sorry. It just struck me as funny. We took that hot Kylie Clarkson money and got new T-shirts.
Well, shall we move into our unmitigated gall?
I think so.
For the last 2 weeks. All right. Heath, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have heard of this thing called Amazon.com.
Yeah, sure
A
have.
little bit
Okay.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a website where you can order stuff and then they just bring it to your house.
What?
Yeah. And I ordered, I order stuff from time to time, and I get that I live a privileged life.
Yes.
I can just be sitting in my living room and just pull out my phone and be like, oh, I need, toothpaste, that I can just boop, 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 and then toothpaste shows up a little while
And that's
later.
the sound that Amazon makes,
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, pop, pop.
It's like the Jetsons robot.
Yes, exactly.
Well, a couple weeks ago, I had to order razor blades, and I didn't need them right away. I just had used the last one, and, I needed a few days, and they're like, oh, we'll have them there today by 5 o'clock. This is, it was in the morning. I'm like, okay, I don't need them today by 5, but whatever. And then at about 5:30, they're like, you know what? We're not going to have them there today. We're going to have them there tomorrow. I'm like, okay. The next day,
Oh, no.
the next day I get an email be like, God, it's not going to be today. It's going to be a little bit later. And I just get these emails, and text messages. They were texting me just like, and it was just getting more and more intense about, we're trying to get these to you, and
my
we
God.
cannot. And I'm just like, chill the fuck out. Bring them next week. Like, I don't want to cause you stress, sir or madam.
This does not need to be top priority.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I didn't. They were like, at one point, they were like, can you call us so we can talk about this? I'm like,
Oh my
no.
God.
I absolutely will not call you and talk about
Oh, no.
this. Yeah.
I bet if you got on the phone, they would introduce you into some cult or something.
Probably. I'd be a Mason.
Yeah.
Yep.
And soon you would be Supreme Inspector General Venerable.
Grand Commander.
That's right, yeah.
And the thing was, it was St. Patrick's Day weekend in Des Moines, and there was lots of stuff downtown, and roads were closed, and people were having trouble getting around. And I think that's why it was causing the delay. But I upset someone by doing this, and I didn't mean to.
But the unmitigated gall to make you feel bad about ordering razor blades is kind of,
And to offer to call you? That's assault.
It was
That's
weird. It was weird.
No.
Yeah.
But I will, again, we established last episode, we are a solutions-oriented podcast.
Yes, we are. Yes.
And I have a solution for this.
Oh.
And I hope someone, obviously, I think all of Amazon probably listens to this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think when you order something on Amazon, you have the option to just check a box and be like, bring this when it works for you.
Yeah.
I don't need this right away. Wait
Yeah.
until a bunch of people in my neighborhood have stuff to bring, and you just bring all of it at the same time. It doesn't need to be today or tomorrow. Just, at your leisure, at your
Cut down on
convenience.
those plane emissions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's-
Carbon footprint shrinkage.
Yeah. Don't jet me my razor blades. I
Right.
don't need it.
Yeah.
I get it too. Like whenever they give you the option of it can be today or it can be tomorrow or it can be overnight, I'm like, I don't need anything that fast. That feels that's asking a little too much.
Yeah. Sometime in the next couple weeks would be, perfect.
Wow.
So the razor blades did show up, by the way.
Oh, good.
Were they good quality razor blades?
I haven't had to use any of them yet.
These better be some damn good razor blades.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the end of the story is that you did get them because I thought it was going a different direction. I thought it was because I've been in that boat where you just keep getting emails and I'm like, this is never coming, right? Like I should just cancel this. It's been a month.
Well, I was reminded of your email with the beef sticks. Like, did you order this many beef sticks?
And the only thing I wrote back was yes. That's probably on the wall in the break room. And I was like, yes, send.
They were shaming you for your beef sticks.
Well, I had a whole thing typed out, but what are you going to say? It's for a golf outing. Right. They're like, no, it's not, lady. You eat that many beef sticks, and I know it.
Beef stick fiend.
Yeah.
You're like when I worked at a supermarket in high school, and there would be a list of people, don't take checks from these people. You know?
That's so much pressure.
It is. Because if someone came up and they matched the name, I was like, I'm 17. I don't know what to do about this. So I usually just let them through.
Yeah.
I always think
bad
it's
checks.
super. I don't know what to make of it. Like the convenience stores that when someone would try to pass a bad check back in the day, where they'd take the check and tape it to the cash register, so everybody that came through could see that person trying to pass a bad check.
Public shaming.
Yeah, that is. I remember that too. Now that you say that.
And some of those people probably knew what they were doing, and I'm sure some of them are just bad at balancing checkbooks because it's just a difficult thing to do.
Because we didn't have internet banking then, yo.
Yeah.
We had to actually add and subtract, multiply and divide. That was a lot. Well, I'll do my gall next.
Yeah.
Following on from your dead feet a couple episodes ago, I have another body part, which is my ears. Oh. My ears have some fucking gall, and here's why.
Because they have to listen to this bullshit.
I've been doing a lot of work with headphones lately for our show, for some other shows that we're doing, and my ears are aching. And I understand that this is part of aging. I understand it. But I'm so mad because I need music, I need audio to live a rich, fulfilling life. But the gall is also me because I know for 20 years I was going to rock shows like every weekend and there was no thought of earplugs. There was no thought of like safety or anything like that. I would stand next to those goddamn speakers and soak it all in and go home with my ears ringing and think it was the best time ever. So,
what? Huh? What?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Huh?
And, to be clear, I am 46. So, this is part of whatever, the decrepitude of the bodies.
I love that.
And I won't go so far as to say that I have dead or dying ears like your dead feet, but this is some gall. I also wonder, are we going to get a new audience? Are there ear fetishes that we're going to get by mentioning this? Okay, because there was foot stuff that we were going to get new audiences.
Yeah. Good thoughts. Yeah.
The ear pervs are coming for us.
Ew,
Those are the
they
weird
are.
pervs.
That's a thing.
That's the weird pervs. I also, I know I need to go to an ear doctor and get stuff checked out and whatever, but American health systems, bullshit. And second, why don't we have regular hearing checks? Like we have regular vision checks, we have regular checks of other things, but your ears are just ignored.
I remember in elementary school having to go do that.
Yes. That's true.
Yeah.
But then after that,
I think then it was just because the teachers wanted to know who actually wasn't listening to them and who just physically could not.
Yeah, that's true. So you're not being an asshole kid.
Yeah.
You just can't hear me. Yeah. Like I know you go to the doctor and they look in there with the thing, but they're mostly just looking to see if you're built up earwax. Like they're not testing your hearing.
Right.
So now I'm going to have to shell out some money and go to some hearing doc and they're going to tell me you're old and you did wrong by going to all that music. And I don't know what to do with that. So since we are a solutions-oriented podcast, I know that is the solution, but I don't like that solution.
No. What if they give you hearing aids?
I'm really not going to like that solution. Yeah. But I know at some point I'm probably going to need them. We're probably all going to need them, but I'm going to need them sooner.
Yeah. You can get really tiny ones that you can't even see. I've done some research. because I'm in the same boat with one ear in particular, and I'm not, like, I will not go to the doctor.
I know. I don't want to.
This is how I know how
Okay.
bad it is because at night I lay on my side to sleep, and if Mike has the TV on, if I lay on one side, I can hear the TV. If I lay on the other side, I can't hear the TV.
Whoa.
I mean, he turns it way down when I'm going to sleep.
Okay.
Or he puts headphones in, but if he doesn't, I'm like, nothing? Oh, TV's on.
All right, your ears have some fucking gall too.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, so that's
Gall
my complaint.
everywhere.
That's my
Everywhere.
complaint. The goddamn body keeps breaking and doing things it shouldn't do, even though I heard it in many ways. But
Yeah.
whatever, bounce back. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Isn't it supposed to be resilient? What is this body
Yes.
for? Come on. Get it together.
Stupid.
Get it together. My unmitigated goal was going to be my allergies, which you can hear
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
just apparently this season's going to be something. So that's exciting. I'm excited about that. But
Ooh, this feels like a movie trailer. Like, this year,
this season.
she thought her allergies were bad before, but this was the year that it all went to shit.
You got to take out stock and Kleenex and never leave your house because people think you have COVID.
The allergies, the return.
That's one. Yeah, that was going to be part of the unmitigated goals. How often I have to be like, it's allergies. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
They're all out of control. But anyway, instead, I witnessed something on Friday that changed everything on my unmitigated goal Friday. And so my unmitigated goal is going to be patience.
Okay.
Because
Like at the hospital or like have patience?
the virtue
Quality.
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
virtue
All right,
patience.
okay, okay.
Because what I witnessed on Friday, one, I had a real good laugh about, but two, I imagine happens a lot, and I realized it was an area that I had previously ignored. So I was at Target, and I came out of Target, and on Friday in this area, it was a questionable weather day. There was snow, then there was rain, it was sleet,
We
it was
had thunder
cold.
snow.
It
Yeah.
was weird. So I'm walking to my car, and I see this gentleman probably in his early 20s, if not like 18, 19. He's out there, he's got a hooded sweatshirt on, he's got a coat on, he's trying to get all the carts. And they have one of those machines that you load the carts up and then you can wheel them all in. He has it along a line of cars because he's getting the carts. Where else do you put it, right? I'm walking to my car and I see this lady is like walking around her car anxiously. And the carts are in front of her car, to be fair. It's like
Okay.
she can't back out.
Okay.
Now, I clearly clocked that there's a cart guy out there. Boom, I can see him. He's got a reflective vest on. He's getting carts. Two
High vis.
signals right away. Didn't need any more information. Cart guy. She took a different approach.
Okay.
She decided that she could probably move this on her own
Oh.
and went to the back and started
Oh, no.
pushing the buttons.
Oh, she's not qualified for that.
Oh.
No, and the cart guy agreed because I had turned my back because my car was further and I was walking towards it when I hear at full decibel and volume, "Don't touch that!" And I turn to see the cart guy in a dead sprint
Oh, my.
across the parking lot to the lady because she is headed. There's a car sticking out further down and she's pushing the carts. I mean, it looked like it was going to go
Oh,
right
my
into the car.
God.
He's like, "Do not touch that." She's running. The carts are wiggling. She's like, the whole structure is moving. And all because she just couldn't wait to get her car out. And I was like, okay, let's say you had an emergency. The simple solution would have just been to go get the cart guy and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I really need
Yep,
to get out.
yep.
Can you?"
She took solutions oriented a little too far.
Yes.
She did.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
was like,
that
"I
was-
got this. These
yeah.
cart things are no problem."
Oh my
So
god.
the unmitigated gall of assuming that you can just do someone else's job.
Right.
Yep.
Unmitigated gall of just zero patience because also this was Friday at like 10 a.m.
Oh.
This wasn't like
Calm down.
like you chose to come to Target at this time.
Yeah.
Like I don't know really what the emergency was, like why we had to get out right then.
Yeah.
Like probably just some patience would have benefited. And it feels like that's just true in a lot of situations. Just calm down. Everything's going to be fine. Because
thinking-
what you risked was taking out a car.
And I'm thinking that poor kid sees this in slow motion down the road, and he's like, "I'm gonna get fucking blamed for this.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
This
for
is
sure.
terrible."
Yep.
That was
Yeah.
the tone in the voice was like, shit.
Oh god.
And also I thought, I wonder how often he has to break into a dead sprint as the cart guy.
Probably not a lot.
But I mean, do you think? I bet people touch those buttons a lot.
Man.
I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
No.
I would never.
know,
I would
yeah.
never. Because first of all, the amount of carts you have on that seems unruly to me.
I can barely handle one cart.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
That's, oh my goodness.
And also, I should also mention that there was another lady involved that while he was running said, "Do you want my cart?" And I was like, "Are we not clocking what's happening?" It was madness. Madness. And he paid no mind, and she just put it in the cart corral.
I know you're racing for your life, but hey, do you want to take this for me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then the lady was just tripping. She's like, "I'm sorry, I just gotta get my car out." Da, da, da. He was just shut. He did not speak to her. He just moved it.
And she came away from that thinking like she was the hero.
Yeah.
And that he was the dumb shit. He didn't know his job.
1,000%. She's somewhere right now being like, "Well, I just moved the cart thing."
She's talking about it.
Yeah, I moved it because I don't know what you're thinking, but you cannot park carts in front of cars. I don't even know what Target's thinking. That's not even going to work. So I just said no.
She's over on her podcast, being an a-hole's okay. Telling her version of the story.
Her unmitigated gall is me and then there was this lady with her mouth open just watching me. So rude.
She didn't try to help or anything.
No, she just stood there in shock and then laughed and got in her car.
Wow, that is a very meta thought that all of the times we're talking about gall, that they have their own podcast and we're the gall on theirs.
Somebody at Amazon is like, "We just wanted to talk about your goddamn razor blades. Pick up the phone."
Yeah. We just wanted to make sure you got them. It's customer service.
We're trying to help.
Or that one time at the car place, and the lady that was sighing to try to get attention. She's on her own podcast trying to get that attention still.
Nobody listens to me. I sigh and I sigh and I sigh.
And nobody's picking up
And no
on
one
it.
picks it up. And all I want to do is say that I'm having a great grandbaby today.
Oh. And then the lady that stuck the spicy beef stick in her eye, she has her own podcast too.
She's wrong with people.
But she's just talking into nothing because she can't figure out how the computer works or the microphone works.
She's
or
still
anything.
got a swollen eye.
She doesn't know where to post this.
That's a good note. I need to write that down for the golf outing that I need to include an eye wash station this year.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do.
Probably just from OSHA standpoint. Since I gave out a spicy beef stick.
OSHA's beef stick division.
Beef stick and Spectre.
It's like the CSI franchise. Someday they're going to have a CSI beef stick.
CSI beef stick. This is just a side note about the golf outing. There is a gentleman who wears the craziest golf outfits I've ever seen. Like, he does it on purpose. Like, they're like, purple, pink, red, like some kind of design pants. And then he'll pick the brightest color in the pants, which is a tough contest, and get that shirt and then like a white belt every year. It's something crazy. So it sticks in my head. He sticks in my head because of that. And one of Mason's swim meets, his daughter was swimming, and apparently he wears that in his everyday life.
Oh!
It was shocking.
And here I was ready to say, like, do you think this is a place where straight men feel like they can just dress flamboyantly and it's fine?
I
but he's
thought
doing it in his life.
Yes, he walked in and I was like, that's a wild outfit. And then I did a second take, and Mike and I at the same time looked at each other and said, "It's golf outing guy." And then to see him in the wild, outside of a golf course in the same attire, not on a day that you could golf, by the way. It was a swim meet day. It was cold. It was not. It's not like
So
he
he
was
wasn't on
golfing.
his way.
No.
Okay. All right.
He was dressing for what he wanted to do, not what he was actually doing.
Yes.
He's manifesting. That's what's happening.
Oh, the secret up in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Should we move on to 1992?
Yes.
Keith, would you like to start us off with some pop culture gems from 1992?
Maybe the biggest pop culture gem from 1992, which is saying a lot because there was a lot of good stuff in 1992, was a little movie called Batman Returns.
Oh.
I wrote a bunch of notes and I was like, damn it, Heath's going to take this one. I know he is.
Well, that movie came out on June the 19th of that year, and Michael Keaton was, he was Batman again, and Danny DeVito was the Penguin, a.k.a. Oswald Cobblepot, and Michelle Pfeiffer was Catwoman, and, with apologies to Anne Hathaway and Zoe Kravitz,
Nope.
Michelle Pfeiffer, she's the only Catwoman for me.
Always and forever.
Yep.
Yeah, 1000%.
So in the movie, the Penguin blackmails Gotham businessman Max Schreck, who's played by Christopher Walken, who is always, he's creepy. Like, he's a creepy human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he always chooses roles that are creepy.
Well, he probably witnessed a murder.
I feel like part of his life he like lived on the rails. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
There's something about, he's seen some things.
He has seen some
Yeah.
things. That face has seen some
He
things.
has rode the rails. You're
He
right.
has. I want to see his documentary.
I want to see the boxcar where he just hung out.
Yeah, where he spent his formative years.
I don't know why. I feel like I just had an image of his documentary would just be like a blank chair where he's supposed to be, and he'd be off camera talking, and I'd be like, "We need you to sit." I don't know why. That just feels like right. That he would just not be able to do it.
So the Penguin, he blackmails Max Schreck into helping him become part of Gotham's upper crust society. And they stage a kidnapping of the mayor's baby, and then Oswald saves the baby. And in exchange, he only asks for access to Gotham City's birth records, which is a normal and fine and no one should start asking questions thing, you know. Yeah.
It's totally fine.
So meanwhile, Max Schreck pushes his secretary, Selena Kyle, out a window after she discovers that he's a dirtbag. Selena survives, and when she comes to in an alley, she's being licked by stray cats, and who hasn't been there once or twice? Am I right?
Always. I'm resuscitated by stray cats all the time.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Resuscitated.
Yeah.
If you, I mean, I don't want you to fall out the window at your house, but if you did into the backyard, the cats would wake
I'd
you
be
up.
fine.
Yeah,
I'd
you'd
be
be
totally
okay.
fine. And then I would go home and make myself a cat suit. And it'd be great.
I appreciate that you started that sentence with "I don't want you to."
I feel like that was implied, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. To be
Yeah.
clear.
So, you know, as Amy would do, Selena, she goes home and she does something I call hate sewing. She hate sews a leather bodysuit.
She does hate so.
And then spends her free time exploring Gotham City, metaphorically pushing things off shelves just because she can, like a regular cat would do.
Yeah. But with a whip.
Batman wants to stop the bad guys, and Catwoman wants to kill them. So despite sexual tension levels that would make an adult film star blush, they realize they can never be together, which is tragic. But before they part ways, they figure out the Penguin just wants to kill all of Gotham's firstborn sons because he was a firstborn son and his parents dropped him in a river because he didn't have fingers and he ate their cat.
One of the parents, by the way, Pee Wee Herman.
Yep. And the other parent played the waitress in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Really?
Yeah.
Just
Merci
playing a
beaucoup,
rich
Pee-wee.
asshole. Just playing a rich asshole who throws his kid in the sewers. It's fine.
It's fine.
So in the end, the Penguin and Max Schreck bite the dust and Catwoman escapes into the shadows of Gotham. We kind of all saw how that was going to go. I do remember, though, that McDonald's was part of the promotional push for Batman Returns, but they caught some heat because the movie was a little darker than the first one and was a little more violent, had a little more sexual elements. They did drop, Miss Merry Christmas off a building during the tree lighting ceremony in the movie, but she was wearing a dumb outfit, so it seemed less violent to me, at least. It was cartoony. And as someone who is not a parent or a firstborn son, the Penguin's plan did not resonate with me the same way it might have with someone who is a parent or is a firstborn son. That seems like other people's problems type sitch.
It is.
Yeah. And I remember at McDonald's they had those 32-ounce plastic cups with different movie scenes on the side of them, and I think I had them all.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know. I didn't feel like McDonald's was like pushing sex or violence on me. They were just like, here's a bunch of Coke.
Yeah.
Everyone was pushing sex and violence, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that when I was looking that they considered this sort of a relative failure because it didn't do as well as the first movie, and also because of that backlash from
Really?
parents that are, their kids are wanting to see it because they see it at McDonald's, and then they're like, "Oh dear God!"
But we were also very
You can
deep in
still
it.
say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were also very deep in like the Tipper Gore, like
Yes, we were.
everyone's blaming rap music and everyone's
Yeah.
blaming MTV for
Yeah.
their kids acting like jerks.
Yeah.
So. It did. I remember when it opened though. It said at the time the box office record for like the biggest opening in history.
Really?
Yeah, which was like $49 million. I think, if I remember right. Which now, I mean, now there are movies that make $49 million on opening weekend. And they're like, what a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I truthfully think it kind of sounds like a, beacon for the future. I mean, in our current political climate, I'm not saying we won't find some babies in sewers.
Right.
I think you're absolutely right. And it just so happens that in the Gotham sewers, penguins are living there.
Yeah.
And they adopt the baby. So it'll be fine. We'll just be building supervillains for the future. And then I'll just go in the backyard and I'll get resuscitated by cats.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And I'll be Catwoman.
You'll save us. Amy will save us.
Amy will save us, yes.
And at the end, I mean, Catwoman's the winner.
Yeah.
She lives her life.
Yeah.
I will say I saw Batman Returns at the Crossroads 10 Theater in Waterloo, Iowa. Yeah, at the midnight show on the Thursday night before it opened, right? And you couldn't buy tickets in advance then. You just had to go wait in line. So we waited in line for 6 hours, just outside the movie theater. And then the local news showed up and we were on TV. It was a whole thing. And I was supposed to have worked that night. And I got someone to switch with me. And one of my friends had just call in sick. They won't know. And it's no, I mean, they would have known because they saw me on TV. The next day, they were just my boss was like, oh, we saw you on TV last night. So, yeah. And I do remember after we saw the movie, 2 a.m, it got done, and we ate at Perkins before he went home. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time I saw real live drunk people out in the world because there were some college guys that were drunk, and one of them was doing something with the ketchup bottle, and the lid came off and got ketchup all over the wall, and the waitress was just like, Jesus Christ. And we were
Not
all just
again.
It was like we were watching a documentary. We were all just so interested in what was happening. But
You're like, this is a glimpse into the future.
Uh-huh.
That's a wild day. Wait in line 6 hours, see Batman Returns, have Perkins, and watch drunk people. That's a lot of activity.
Especially for were you 16, 17?
16.
16.
Yeah.
You were seeing things beyond your years.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit surprised I was allowed to go to Waterloo to see a movie at midnight, but my parents are probably just leave me alone.
You're going to be gone and otherwise occupied for that amount of time. Great, go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent choice.
Thank you.
Love
Such a good movie. It was interesting that Tim Burton, did they kind of push him off for the next movies, or did he choose not to do the next movies?
I think they wanted... First of all, I will say Batman Returns to me still stands up. I watched it recently, and it's still a good movie.
It's campy and all the things,
But I think they wanted to make the next one, they wanted it to be a little lighter and a little more family friendly, and I don't think he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So bring in Joel Schumacher and
Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
And cue you looking on the internet for pictures of Val Kilmer in the batsuit.
Mm-hmm. For hours.
Hours.
Well, my pick to start us off for 1992 is when 7 strangers stopped being polite and started getting real. It is the very first Real World. Mm-hmm. In the spring of 1992, MTV picked 7 strangers, pushed them into an NYC apartment, and the cast lived in the loft from February to May. And then the series premiered 3 days after they left. And so that first season... sort of, I imagine if we looked back at it now, it probably seems just sweet and innocent. Yes. But it's sort of established, there's key characters in any sort of dynamic, right? And then it brought together, participants into confessional interviews, which is, I think, a standard, right, for a lot of the reality shows. It was a critical failure. Critics were like, what the hell is this stupidity? But viewers loved it. I remember I loved it. I thought it was fascinating. And it was interesting that I read an article in the AV Club that said, later seasons of The Real World, kind of like what you guys have described with The Housewives, they went on knowing what they were getting into. Yeah. Right. And they were going on to be in the real world and to be, famous and to really, mix shit up and to start fights and all that stuff. But, this first season, it was just it was almost sort of naive. Do you remember there's a shouting match between 2 people out on the sidewalk and it was high drama. So I called up the list of characters. I wanted to see if we remember these characters. Yes. Okay. So there's Becky Blasband, who's 24.
Isn't she the one that slept with one of the producers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Described by MTV as moody. She is searching for a mature relationship and in episode 8 begins seeing Bill Richmond, one of the show's directors. She's 24. That doesn't seem great. Then there's Andre. Who is a singer and guitarist. Do you remember the name of his band?
Oh, no.
Rain Dance. Spelled like rain, like Queen's Rain.
Oh, no.
Of course it was.
He's played with them for 3 years. He's got full, 92 grunge hair. And let's see. I'm looking on Wikipedia, listeners, just so you know what I'm doing. He's described by MTV as the prototypical Gen X guy. And he and Rain Dance made a video. And I think they got some play because of that. He was...
that's probably why he agreed to go on the show,
Yes.
right? Was to get exposure for the band.
Then there's Heather Gardner, who is a hip-hop artist with the group Boogie Down Productions.
Is she the one that became like Heather B, like the R&B or something?
It doesn't say here.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of somebody
No,
else.
it might have been because she's toured and she's been on the Arsenio Hall show. And during the season, she's seen recording her album, The System Sucks.
Oh.
We agree.
Yeah, she's 20 years old. And she has a cat named Smokey, who is sometimes in conflict with Norman's dog, Gouda.
They let them bring their pets. I forgot about that.
I did too. Also, Gouda's a great pet name.
It's a great name. Then there's Julie. Julie is 19. She's a Southern girl. She's an aspiring dancer, though her father wants her to study to be a computer expert. Because that was the name of things back then. She's also the youngest, and she's sort of, naive to New York and everything. According to MTV, her innocence, engaging personality, and desire to learn about the world make her the darling of the loft.
They just found a rube. They were just like, we need someone that doesn't know a goddamn thing up in here.
Then there's Norman, who's 25, and he's the first openly LGBT Real World cast member, and his sexuality becomes the focus of attention during the season because he has to deal with some issues after he starts a relationship. Eric Nyes is a print and TV model. He was 20. He'd been working in New York for a year. He'd been doing commercials. His father's an NBA referee.
Oh,
get it?
But he was not always there for him growing up, and as a result, he had a troubled youth.
Troubled youth is a loaded phrase.
Whoa, he's on probation after being arrested for possession of steroids.
Oh, no.
Someone actually got arrested for that?
Didn't he have like an exercise tape out or something at one point?
I think he did.
Yeah. Like The Grind with Eric Nies or something, which sounds different now.
Oh, my God.
I think
you're right.
The Grind. Yeah, that sounds so familiar.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yep. Then there's Kevin Powell.
Okay.
He was the oldest member of the cast. He's a poet, writer, and educator. He's 26. And Kevin got into a lot of trouble as a teenager, but he shares some common ground with Eric. He has a girlfriend. He has strong beliefs regarding the issues of race, leading to heated arguments with his housemates. In episode 11, he has an argument with Julie, who says he threatened her with a candlestick holder. He denies this and sees his cast members taking her side as being influenced, at least in part, by race. That was a big deal.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I remember that.
Very mild compared to today's fights.
Yeah.
But it was like a shouting match. And it was like, oh my God, this is really happening. So yeah, the real world came and changed our lives forever.
It did. I was hooked.
I was so hooked.
I remember there would be some seasons I'd be super into, and then other ones I'd watch like 3 episodes, and I'm just like, I'm not clicking with these folks, so I'm sitting this one out.
Yeah.
I like that you had that level of self-control. I did not. I was like, I don't like these people, but I'm watching every episode immediately.
Yeah. There were only 13 episodes, and it aired from May to August of 92. So it was that summer when we were all watching Real World. And then I remember the next one was Los Angeles, right? Yep. It was not as good. But the third one was
San Francisco.
San Francisco, yes.
Yes.
And that one was really good. And then after that, I kind of lost.
There was Vegas. There was...
I remember Chicago.
Or Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle, I remember that
Irene
one.
from Seattle.
Is that the one with Lyme disease?
Yes, yeah. Hawaii, they had one in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then it led to a whole, franchise, right? Of like Real World, Road Rules,
the challenge,
crossovers, all of it.
And a couple of years ago on Peacock, they brought back the original cast and had them live together for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, they did but then they canceled it and took it off Peacock, so I don't really know what happened. But yeah.
That sounds like a train wreck.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, you guys have said about Housewives, like further seasons got self-aware.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was this first season where it's just... Yeah, it's probably, if we watched it now, we'd probably think that's just adorable.
Yeah, you would think it
But
was,
also probably like, good God, you guys are... What about you, Erin?
Well, my first thing for 1992 is Crisscross Will Make You Jump.
Oh, my God.
Because I don't know if you remember this little R&B duo.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
They took us by storm in 92 simply by putting their clothes on backwards.
Yep.
If you remember, they wore all their clothes backwards.
Yep.
They were just little guys.
They were discovered when they were 12 and 13.
Oh, my gosh.
If you're unfamiliar with Crisscross,
How dare you?
how? And also, they're an American hip-hop duo consisting of Chris Mac Daddy Kelly
Mac Daddy.
and Chris Daddy Mac Smith.
Oh.
That's right. Yeah.
Mac Daddy and the Daddy Mac. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they were 12 and 13, right?
They were 12 and 13, yeah. And they were discovered by Jermaine Dupri in 1991.
Oh.
And he was only like 18 or 19 when he discovered them and said, these guys are going to be a hit. And believe it or not, their first single, Jump, was a hit. They went on to release 3 studio albums, which I did not remember because I basically remembered Jump.
Yeah,
But,
that's, yep.
Totally Crossed Out, Da Bomb, and Young, Rich, and Dangerous.
I think it's a real bold move to name your album Da Bomb.
It is.
When it could just be, it could bomb. Like
It
nobody,
could bomb, yeah.
if nobody's
It could
gonna
just
buy
be a
it.
firecracker.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it might not be what you think it is. Yeah.
Please like us.
Yeah. But their music video for Jump went on to #1 on MTV, and this blew my mind, sold over 100,000 copies as a VHS single, which means a whole bunch of people bought a VHS of just that video of Jump.
That seems like a lot of materials to make. I mean,
Yes.
the actual VHS tape, like,
Yeah.
to have a 5-minute video.
That's
on
what I was thinking. Of
And
just
now
a
they're all
single.
just in landfills all
They
across
are.
the
They
land.
are. Unfortunately, Chris Kelly, which was Mac Daddy, died of a drug overdose in 2013.
Oh, no.
Yeah, unfortunately. Which
So
is
he was still really young.
Yeah, very. I remembered this immediately when it came up because when I was in school, it was elementary, and there was a guy that came to our class that wasn't like, we had a very small class. So if we got a new student, it was a big deal. Like everybody knew it. And I went to a Catholic school, as we've established, so we wore uniforms. But there were some days where we could wear like something else. Like they'd have a special day for like a homecoming or something. And he wore his pants backwards.
Oh,
like
my
Chris
God.
Evans. And I remember being like, I'm in love! How did you do it? I think that our teacher made him go to the bathroom and turn his pants around because I think everyone was so like,
Son, that's too urban. That's too urban.
Urban, yeah.
yeah. The nuns were like, no crisscross in here, no. So he did turn him around, but I remember thinking that was bold and I liked it.
Wow, so that really did it for you, huh?
It did it for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
He was a maverick.
Yeah, it did it for me.
Did you ever clock which door he would leave school at and just hang out there with your shirt on backwards and just be like, hey, what's up?
Hey, that's what I should see. Now that's more moves than I had.
Yeah.
I should have.
Yeah.
I sat by him in homeroom, and so I frequently would try and start conversations, but
And how'd that go?
not great because one of my prevailing personality things is that I love to joke, and you have to hone that over time. And
Yeah,
I
you
don't
do.
think that elementary school Erin was as funny as she thought she was.
She was probably real inappropriate
Yeah.
or I
think it
your
was more
timing
just-
was off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you use your folder backwards? Like something real, No, I don't. Okay. And then we're at an impasse. We got nothing else to share.
Oh.
But I fondly remember Crisscross. I remember that video. I remember the song. I remember the clothes.
There was another song about jumping that year too, like House of Pain, Jump Around.
Yeah.
Jump
Jump
yes, you're
around.
right.
We were just all jumping in 1992.
Oh, jumping around.
Yeah.
It's just excited.
And I think they had their own unique wardrobe too. I don't think it was as iconic as the backwards
No.
pants,
No.
but yeah.
And I also just like their hoopspa to say crisscross is going to make you jump. Not,
Yeah, that's
not
true.
just like jump
Nope.
around.
The Mac
Don't
Daddy
do it on
and the
your
Daddy
own
Mac.
time.
Yeah.
They're going to make you jump.
Crisscross will make you. Yeah.
Jump.
Yeah.
Daddy
So-
Mac will make you jump.
Jump.
Mac.
The Daddy Mac will make you
Jump,
jump.
jump.
Jump. The Mac Dad will make you jump.
What else can we call ourselves? We need another verse. Chris will make you jump.
We could make our own song with Heath will make you jump, jump.
Oh, I like that.
And
Maybe
you'll make
that's
you
what we should
jump,
do every
jump.
week is a new theme song based on
Oh,
1992. So this
shit.
week could be Fuzzy Memories Make You
Jump,
Jump.
We can work on the lyrics.
Yeah, we'll work on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
They write themselves. So that's what they did.
Yeah, watch your mailbox for that
Yeah,
VHS video. Coming
Yeah,
to
we're
you.
only going to release it on VHS.
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah, get those VCRs out of storage.
Yeah.
Do you guys still have a VCR?
No.
I don't either.
I don't either.
Yeah. I have a few VHS tapes behind me,
Oh,
but nothing to play them on.
We might have one actually in storage.
I know I've got a box of old VHS tapes that
Yeah.
movies that I haven't got rid of.
Got a bunch
but
of cassette tapes. Yeah.
I know at Friendsgiving a few years ago, Travis brought, that was his white elephant gift, was
Yeah.
a VCR and like a half a dozen VHS movies.
That's pretty great.
And judging
Yeah.
that the price limit was about $10, I think it was probably accurate. Like
Yeah.
none of that was above $10.
Yeah. But that's kind of a great gift.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I mean, a VCR and some VHSs. I mean, you got to plug it in and check it out.
All right, what's next for you?
Well, 1992 we've established was a great year for music.
Oh,
And I have another submission to add to that. Achy Breaky Heart.
oh God!
Fun! That was my next one.
Ugh.
That song that Amy clearly loves.
Ugh.
I still know the line dance.
Oh God!
I do. Is that
We'll put that on the
painful.
VHS. Okay. Watch out for the VHS.
That mullet! That mullet!
Don't chill my heart.
My achy breaky heart.
Oh no! Do we have to do
just
fuzzy
don't
memories?
think
Okay,
you'd
don't
understand.
Oh, stop it! Both of you, stop it!
So, Achy Breaky Heart was written by a man named Don Von Tress.
Oh, you know, Don.
Don Von Tress.
Good old Don.
Donnie boy.
And it was initially released in 1991 by a group named the Marcy Brothers.
Oh,
Yeah.
they did real well with it, obviously.
Well, they called their version Don't Tell My Heart. And I think they probably could have called it Never Heard of It because nobody cared. So before the Marcy Brothers, the song was offered to the Oak Ridge Boys.
Whoa!
But they turned it down because they still had Elvira money, apparently. They didn't need this.
Elvira.
And they didn't like the words achy breaky.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the lead singers just didn't like the word achy.
okay.
Yeah. So Billy Ray Cyrus recorded the version of the song that we all know and don't love.
Nope.
And it was included on his 92 debut album, Some Gave All. It is Billy Ray Cyrus's signature song, kind of like how O.J. Simpson is the Ford Bronco's signature passenger.
For all the Ford manufacturer listeners right now, they're cringing. They're cringing.
I feel like OJ's Bronco ride kind of did to the public what
Yes.
the same thing that the Achy Breaky Heart did. Like everyone
that's a
were
very good
deeply
point.
fascinated.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have been. It wasn't good for
Train
us.
wreck we could not look away from. Yeah.
So the song topped the country charts in the U.S. and climbed all the way to number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, which is the pop charts. But for some reason, it was a much bigger success in Australia.
Whoa.
I assume it's because Australia is just surrounded by water and people couldn't escape.
Yeah, I think that's probably
That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
right, yeah.
And it was the first single to ever be certified triple platinum. That's 3 million copies sold in Australia, which is, they've got some troubling history down there, and
Yeah.
this is part of that.
Yeah.
Back in the
It's on par.
yeah. Back in the U.S., it was the first country song to be certified platinum since "Islands in the Stream." by
Wow.
Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. And Dolly Parton is actually Miley's godmother.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, this Billy Ray Cyrus is the father of the juggernaut that we know as Miley
Miley
Cyrus.
Cyrus. Yes.
He brought her forth into the world.
I think he's still angry about it.
Yeah, I bet he is.
I think she has
Yeah.
eclipsed him, and he has never recovered.
Yeah, I agree.
So some other notable milestones for the song. Its video was number 23 on CMT's 100 Greatest Videos in 2008,
Oh.
which is, I would like to object. In 2007, the song came in at number 87 on VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of the 90s. I will offer a second objection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some bad choices.
Sustained.
Yeah, it's listed at number 2 on VH1's list of 50 most awesomely bad songs ever in 2004, which I sign off
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
That tracks.
It was covered by the Chipmunks,
Oh, God.
Ouch.
a version I have never
Ouch.
heard, and I absolutely hate that it exists.
Good God. We can't ever listen to it or we'll never leave our brains.
It's already there. It's stuck.
Weird Al did a version of the song that I think was mostly just the lyrics saying, like, stop playing this, like, I hate it. It was sort of a weird, it was like, obviously the music was the same, so you're kind of in it, but like you're saying you hate it. Like, and I don't know. Some of Weird Al's parodies are sort of an homage to the song, like in a fun way. This, I don't think this is that.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
And there's even a hip hop version of the song released by
What?
rapper Buck 22 in 2014.
Oh no.
Oh, I don't want to hear that.
No.
Yeah.
Or do I?
No, you don't.
As Aaron mentioned before, the music video for the song is often blamed for the explosion in popularity of line dancing. in
Really? That's
1990s.
where it came from?
Yeah.
God damn it, I
I'm
hate it
telling
even more.
you, I line danced all over the place.
Wow.
It was out of control.
Were you line dancing with anyone else or just yourself? Okay.
I don't remember. Did we learn it in gym class?
We did square dancing.
We
gym
did
I
class.
square
think
dancing,
I
too.
want to
Yeah.
say we did, but I'm not 1,000% on that. But I know that we learned it. A bunch of us learned it, and I know that I remember doing that line dance at multiple dances,
Oh my
at
gosh.
multiple places that had no business doing a line dance. And I remember we were at some sort of outside like fair thing for someone, a friend of mine's, like their mom was running it or something, and we went to be supportive, and we were doing it because the band was doing a cover of Achy Breaky Heart, and we did the line dance, and they were like, "Come up on stage," and we were like, "Okay."
Oh my
like,
God.
terrible.
So it's like a precursor to a flash mob.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we
Oh,
were just
no.
achy breaky heart and all over. And that's why I think I mean, if you put this on, I'm pretty sure I could do it.
Wow. I mean, should we test that? I don't want to hear the song again, to
This
be
is
honest.
why we need to do
Yeah.
a live episode. A
You're
live
right. You're right.
recording
You're
that's
right.
just
You're
set
right.
up somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. We normally don't really take kindly to the idea of videoing us, but we might have to.
No. And the idea now that I ever did that seems so different from the person I am
Yep.
now that
Yeah.
I look back and go, wow, you were just willing to do just about
Just
anything.
a sweet little girl.
Yeah. If someone asked me to do that now, I'd be like, you're insane. And
Yeah.
we're done.
How dare you?
Yeah.
So, there are lots of inexplicable pop culture moments from the 80s and 90s, many that we've, discussed on this
Yes.
very podcast. But
Yes.
I fully do not understand how or why this song was so popular. I do not get it. It's
Nope.
so dopey. I guess it's a fun song if your idea of fun is bad. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
are you bad at fun? I can objectively look at something that I do not enjoy and accept and understand why someone else would enjoy it.
Uh-huh.
Things like Nebraska. Things like eating outside. Like,
Oh, what is up with eating
I
outside?
hate eating
it's
outside.
the worst.
It's so, thank you.
don't
Amy and
get
I,
it.
we've had this discussion so many times, and I just,
I can't relax. It's
I can't
distracting.
relax.
It's
Yeah. You know what happens outside? It's animals' toilet.
Yes!
You're eating in an animal's toilet when you're eating
are,
outside.
especially if we're eating in outside my house. That's no good.
I can't regulate my temperature outside.
Right.
That's part of
Absolutely.
it, and I have to be able to do that when I'm eating.
too.
It ruins the experience.
Yes.
So again, yeah, like you said, we're a solutions-oriented podcast. I want to have a solution for you. I don't have an answer about why the song was popular. I
Damn
don't.
it.
I can't tell you.
I think this is why I single-handedly, after that, would never let country music into my playlists at all. Because I was like, this is country music now? Fuck this. I'm out. And Garth Brooks tried to get in there. He tried to get into my playlists, and I said, no, sir.
Right. Did Chris Gaines?
Hell
yeah.
no.
That was trickery, Chris
That was
Gaines.
trickery.
Yeah.
Right.
That's trickery.
Uh-huh.
Remember how hard he committed to that lie too? He's like, it's not me. And we're like, it is you.
On SNL, he
Yeah.
came on as himself, and then he's like, musical guest is Chris Gaines.
Yeah.
And then he went for his weird emo haircut.
that weird.
And
Yeah.
the soul patch. Yeah.
Boy.
I realized, I was thinking, oh, it wasn't a Hitler mustache. I was like, no, it was down here.
Yeah, no, not a Hitler. Well, my next one it's another saga for you. It's the saga of the Equal Rights Amendment, which failed in Iowa in November 1992. And also, this was the year that Phyllis Schlafly made an appearance on Iowa Press in order to kill the ERA in Iowa. So
Phyllis.
I do want to say, though, that in 1992, the U.S. Congress approved the 27th Amendment, which prohibits any law that increases or decreases the salary of members of Congress until the start of the next set of terms of office. So that's the important stuff they were adding to the Constitution
Right.
in 1992.
Smart.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Financially responsible.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So the Equal Rights Amendment was first introduced in 1923 after women got the right to vote. And they tried to introduce it in every session of Congress after that. And it never was discussed, never allowed, probably because it was all men. It wasn't until like the 70s that there were at least like 10 women serving. So finally, in 1970, there were a few new women lawmakers, including Shirley Chisholm, who decided, like, all right, this is the year, this is happening. And so in 1972, the amendment passed both chambers of Congress, and everyone was for it. Everyone was like, this is it. Great, yay, it's time, blah, blah, blah. So they said then that the amendment had to be passed by the states within 7 years. Within the first, few years, the 30 of the necessary 38 states, they approved it. Like, this is a slam dunk. This is easy. By the way, the amendment says, equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Simple enough. But not in this case, because then after... Trickery! Because after 30 states approved it, no problem. Then some conservative activists started thinking, I don't know about this. Women... and
wait a minute.
There was a woman named Phyllis Schlafly, who was a conservative lawyer and activist from Illinois, who created the Stop ERA campaign. And she argued that the measure would lead to gender-neutral bathrooms.
Oh.
Horror upon horrors.
Oh, boy.
Same-sex marriage.
Oh, my.
And women in military combat, among other things.
Okay.
At the time, it was very, strange because everyone was on board, but this campaign was hugely successful, and support for the ERA sort of eroded, and then Republicans officially was just like, all right, we're anti-ERA after this. So it was dying. Yeah, it was dying, and it passed the 7-year mark, didn't happen. But then states kept trying to, enact it. And in 1992, Iowa tried to. And this was the year I was taking a sociology class in high school, and the requirement was that we do some volunteer service, probably because it was an election year. So they're like, let's get these kids. And Iowa's, important for some God knows reason. And so I chose the ERA campaign to volunteer for. And, I'm a teenager. I'm just like stuffing envelopes, whatever. And part of it is I'm just thinking like, this is a fucking slam dunk. Like, what is the problem here? No. This is going to be easy. So then when it fails...
Amy.
When it fails, it was a real kind of moment, Like I was already, sort of a feminist because that's who I am, and I haven't been able to shake it. But
we're working on it.
Yeah.
Working on it. But that was a real moment of like, oh man, okay, so even just the idea of equality being enshrined is so, out of the picture for us. But what's interesting is it sort of gained momentum in the last few years. Nevada passed it in 2017. Illinois passed it in 2018. Virginia in 2020. And Virginia was actually the 38th state to ratify it. So technically, it should be an amendment. But, of course, people are saying, there's still hurdles because it didn't make the 7-year deadline, blah, 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 blah. But it's still happening in 2024, and New York is going to vote on it. So I would be cautiously optimistic, but our current landscape does not allow me to be cautiously optimistic.
No.
Yep. I don't think that this will happen in our lifetimes,
no,
unfortunately. And it's such a simple thing, but... Also, a side note, a pop culture side note. There's a show on FX called Mrs. America, and it's about this whole thing, and it's about Phyllis Schlafly, and she's played by Kate Blanchett.
Ooh.
And there's so many good people in this. Like Rose Byrne plays Gloria Steinem. There's a whole bunch of other people, but it's obvious that Phyllis Schlafly is like the women of today, where she's like, I will get a tiny bit of power if I'm able to ally myself with men and against other women. And there's this gut-wrenching moment at the end. Like, you hate her. You hate what she's saying. But then at the end, she's like, all right, it's time to cash in because we killed it. It's done. So she's trying to, get into the Reagan campaign, and they just shut her out because she's a woman. And there's just a moment of I got tricked too.
Yeah. I don't know when women are going to learn to get out of the way of other women. Like, it's always women blocking women. Yeah. It's just so infuriating.
So that was a saga. And that happened in 1992.
Wow.
And it helped form my little mind again and again.
The gender neutral bathroom thing, I think is. I read about this recently, and I know it's a thing now, but like everyone who lives in a house with someone who's not in their gender uses a gender neutral bathroom. Like we've all done it. We've all lived in houses with like I don't get why it's such a the mystique of it that people try to demonize the idea of that. Like I just don't.
And you have no they're. You don't know what's going to happen in that bathroom. Actually, I do.
Everyone's going to pee.
Go to the bathroom and get out. Like
they're going to wash their hands and they're going to want to get out of there.
Look at a few statistics of any kind of abuse that happens, and you're going to find it happens in that gender neutral bathroom in your home, primarily more than a Target gender neutral bathroom. Just saying. Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. Not to take
feminism.
It dark, but, yeah. Well, my next thing. In the vein of marketing meetings.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love a marketing meeting. Is in 1992, Taco Bell did something revolutionary.
Oh, no.
And they said, we're taking this operation to Mexico.
What?
They said, why wouldn't they like our tacos and chalupas and whatever else was on the menu at that time?
This group was white men.
Yep.
Full of old white men.
So they said, obviously, we have all of Mexico's influence. We got the clay-tiled roofs and the arched doorways. We're meant to be there. And they, in their defense, they were in other countries. So they decided that they were going to go in, but they weren't going to open like a regular Taco Bell. Instead,
it's going to be a cool Taco Bell.
A good Taco Bell. This sounds like possibly, if you think Taco Bell's a bad idea, wait until they got this idea. It was inside a existing Kentucky Fried Chicken in Mexico, which in and of itself raises questions, right? And it was a 9-foot-long heated buffet that they opened. And it was inside a KFC because PepsiCo owned both those chains at the time.
Yep.
So they thought, okay, we'll just do this. And some items that we would be familiar with from the Taco Bell menu were served, like nachos and burritos. But they had some other things, like they didn't sell hard shell tacos. They only sold soft shell tacos. And they were trying to appeal to make it seem like they were street tacos or what, in Mexico City was more popular, like food vendor tacos. They were trying to compete with that market.
Oh, my God.
And they legitimately thought they could. And they were like, yeah, but we have cheap tacos. And Mexico City was like, so do we.
Yeah, and we have actual food in ours.
Right. Yeah, that was the thing. And they didn't sell, they sold pork, chicken, and something else, but they didn't sell beef for some reason in their tacos at this heated
I'm not sure they sell beef in their tacos in the United States.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I don't know if this is a surprise or spoiler alert to anyone, but it failed spectacularly. And they had to pull out.
Shocking news.
Very quickly. They were like, whoops, miscalculation. Never mind, we won't be. So in Marketing Meeting 101, we learned that you're going to have random Larry on the elevator one day with no good ideas.
Yeah.
And that happened again in 2007. And he
gosh.
said, let's do it again. I think they're ready this time.
Wow.
And they tried again. Spoiler alert. It failed again because it turns out nobody wants your Taco Bell tacos.
No.
Or churros.
Even Americans know it's going to cause havoc to the digestive system.
But
so,
how dumb would you feel to go to Mexico on a trip for whatever reason, and instead of getting a taco, an authentic taco from there, going to Taco Bell, if you came back
inside a KFC and getting a taco off a heated buffet table.
Is this where the combo KFC Taco Bell things first started? Because those
are baffling.
blow my mind.
Yeah,
the combo KFC Taco Bell Pizza Hut, especially when they do the trio. That's
Yep. I've eaten at a KFC in Mexico before in Cancun. There was no Taco Bell there that I noticed, but they did sell beer. They sold beer at this KFC.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was pretty like you'd get
normal
here.
KFC.
Yeah, I was on a spring break trip. Nowadays, when I go on trips with my husband, I'm not allowed to eat at franchise restaurants.
Yeah.
All I want is to eat at the Olive Garden in Times Square because I think it would be idiotic.
Yeah.
It would be the stupidest thing anybody could ever do, and that's all I want to do.
That's all I want to do. That's like
Michael
where they
doesn't
have
let
like
you
a
have fun.
4-story Applebee's too.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to take 100 pictures and be like, here we are enjoying our time in the Big Apple.
Well, that's
Oh
what
my
this.
God.
That's what somebody likened this to. Was like Olive Garden doesn't go and open franchises in Italy,
Right.
for obvious reasons, and this is the same idea. That the Mexican people were like, "No, thank you, Taco Bell. We got this covered."
Yeah, we got it. We got it covered
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
I do. I just love the idea that you failed once and then you're like, give it a few years. They just weren't ready for our revolutionary
Right.
tacos. We'll go right back in there and fail again.
Wow. Okay, so marketing meeting. Do you think it was just all of them like, this is hyping each other up? Like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is the best idea.
You know what, guys? Took a little trip with the wife to Mexico over spring break. Had to get her out of the house. You know, she's been bitching. So
Damn women.
we went to
wanting their equal
Mexico,
rights.
and I'll tell you what, I looked and I looked and I looked, and we don't have a Taco Bell in Mexico. Do you guys know that? Yeah.
Oh,
Untapped
my.
market. Untapped market. I mean, we've been killing it in Japan. Killing it. Why wouldn't we do great in Mexico?
Right.
I scouted an area. I talked to this guy that owns the KFC there,
Yeah.
our parent company. He said he could give us a table. It's heated.
Oh, it's perfect.
I mean, the over-under on this, the checks write themselves.
You're absolutely right. We're in.
We're
in.
We're in. I
$5
see no
gajillion
problems. I see no problems with this scenario whatsoever.
I don't see it as cultural appropriation or
Hubris.
difficulty at all.
There's no hubris involved in this at all.
None. They are going to go crazy for our cheese sauce nachos. Okay.
We're going to go crazy for the food we name as Mexican, which is not.
No.
Yeah.
Also, just the idea of in Mexico walking into a KFC and then there's a heated table with like a weird electric sign that's going out that's like Taco Bell. And you're
Like Taco Bell to go, like it's in an airport or something.
yeah. Taco Bell Express. They already have everything wrapped and ready. Like what?
Yeah, the fact that they went so half-assed, too.
Yeah.
Because if in Des Moines, Iowa, I go into a KFC and there's a buffet table of tacos, I'm not touching that.
No.
And by the way, me
Also,
and a KFC
yeah,
would be-
none
I
of
was
yeah,
gonna
none of
say-
that jives. Like if you're going into a KFC in Des Moines, you're being chased.
Yeah.
You're in danger.
Yeah.
am
You
a
have been
danger.
kidnapped.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm going to the first place I see. Please help me. But can we not smell like chicken? Can we go outside while I have this conversation?
That's a new segment. We should every week.
Can we not smell like chicken?
Yeah, that's a new segment. And we should name franchises or things that became popular in the 80s and 90s. And we have to figure out, you and I have to figure out what Amy could eat on the menu.
Oh yeah.
So KFC.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I was going to say mashed potatoes, but I don't know if they probably put broth or something in them. They do?
Yeah.
She knows it. Corn. No, butter.
Yeah, there's butter all over that shit.
Maybe just the menu, like just you have to.
Oh, the
chew on
paper
it.
menu.
I don't know. That
Grease.
menu, if you lick it, there's going to be some beef grease on there or something. Beef grease,
Biscuits
chicken grease.
probably not good.
No, there's going to be milk and stuff.
So
in there.
KFC's a fail. Applesauce. Don't they have applesauce?
It would be the saddest thing in the world to go to KFC and say, "Can I please have some applesauce?"
Well, in full disclosure, because I sometimes like a visual aid, I thought about bringing some Taco Bell churros in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
They're not vegan, so I was like,
Oh.
I'm gonna not do that. But
Well, I appreciate the thought.
yeah, I thought, oh, maybe they are, because sometimes dough things, it depends on, bread things, but
Yeah.
they are not.
No.
Do you think they have Kentucky Fried Chickens in Kentucky?
Wow.
If they do, it's probably like the older branding where it looks sort of like, Civil War
Old-timey?
era.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, it's the Dixieland chicken.
Yeah.
Mason
Yeah.
Dixon Land chicken.
Wow, that's something.
Taco Bell killing it.
Yeah.
In Mexico. Just kidding.
Yeah. All right, Heath, you want to take us out? Your last one?
Yeah. Another movie that came out in 1992 was a film called Single White Female.
Oh, shit. Yes.
It starred Bridget Fonda as Allison Jones, a woman who rents a room in her apartment to Hedra Carlson, who was played by Jennifer Jason Leigh. And Allison had a spare room to rent because she had recently broken up with her boyfriend. Yep. Not long after Hedra moves in, Allison and her boyfriend reconcile, and Hedra loses her shit.
Oh.
So not long ago, I watched this movie, and I don't really, I think I remember why I did this. I watched the movie, and for some reason, I just took notes while I watched it. So I have a list of bullet points of just if I had to explain this to somebody.
You were preparing for this podcast long before we had this podcast.
I think I was. I think I have been my whole life.
Yeah.
And I think what it was is my husband wrote a story where he went on a party bus full of blind people who were going to look at Christmas lights. Mm-hmm. And there was somebody on this bus who then described the Christmas lights to the blind people. Mm-hmm. And I think I was like, if there was somebody that couldn't see or didn't, couldn't absorb this movie in the way that I could. These are my notes that I would
explain it so
that I would give to them.
Yeah.
Because everyone should be able to enjoy this movie.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Here are my notes.
Oh God, I can't wait.
Mm-hmm. Item number 1. I forgot this movie included an upstairs homosexual.
And what is the homosexual's role in this? Like, are they the sassy one? Are they the best friend? Are they?
They're the confidant of the main character.
Yep.
Yes. The non-threatening confidant. Because they couldn't have just been a guy who didn't want to.
Absolutely not.
They
Right.
had to make him gay. I feel like you can't sleep in New York City with the windows open. She does that a lot.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She sells fashion software, which is very ahead of its time. Again, this was 1992.
Wow.
Didn't remember that detail.
She at one point wears a belt over a blazer, and I feel like that is not useful.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this one, it just says boobs out with an exclamation point.
So you don't remember whose boobs or how they were out?
No,
Okay.
they were just boobs out.
Just some loose boobs.
Hedra and Allison, they took a selfie with a Polaroid, again, ahead of their time.
Ooh, yeah.
Then I've got more boobs.
Mm-hmm.
She was hiding in Bridget Fonda's room. Apparently, Hedra was hiding in Allison's room at one point.
Wow.
Then boobs again.
I didn't remember there being so much boobs.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, it was a surprise to me. Boobs are always a surprise to me.
You're not regularly expecting boobs.
Yeah.
If we start naming our episodes after lines in the show that we say, boobs are always a surprise to me, that's the one.
That's the line right there.
Also, the number of the times these two go in and out of each other's rooms in the middle of the night, I don't think is healthy. Like, you can be close with your roommate, but there was a lot of that going on.
That's no good.
No, thank you. I'm sleeping.
Mm-hmm. They get a dog, and the dog knows the roommate is up to no good. The dog figures it out really quickly. Mm-hmm.
Dogs are smart like that.
That tracks.
And then the Hedra, she fakes a dog suicide.
Wait, what?
Wait a minute.
She pushes a puppy out a window.
What?
And acts like the dog just got too close and died. Like, they don't show her pushing the dog out the window, but she sets it up so the dog will fall to its death.
That is a step too far, Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah, that's the 90s. That's how they let you know somebody was a bad person.
Yeah.
That they'd lost their marbles. Yeah.
This is a quote from my husband who walked into the room when I was watching this. This looks like Reba to me, the TV show Reba.
I've seen too much of that TV show.
And so when your roommate gets the same haircut as you, Michael will think you both look like Reba because he felt they both look like Reba. They had short, not short, they had red hair like a bob, It's very thoughtful of your crazy roommate to keep all of the evidence of her crazy in a box that is very easy for you to find. That really pushes the plot forward more quickly.
That's good.
It's lit when they play Enigma in the Underground Sex Club.
I forgot about an underground sex club.
I did too.
I mean, I guess the boobs were all leading there.
Yes.
Yeah. All boobs point to underground sex clubs. Yeah.
And then I got with an exclamation point. She killed the upstairs homosexual.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I do not remember this movie, clearly.
I guess I don't either.
Again, boobs.
Oh.
And
she was so excited by killing the upstairs homosexual, she had to show her boobs.
And then boobs number 6.
Oh my God.
Number 6.
And then joke's on you, boyfriend. It's the roommate who snuck into your hotel room and then your bed and gave you a BJ, which was real brief.
Wow.
And I say what you will, but stabbing someone in the eye with your shoe is an inventive way to kill them.
That's what I remember, I think, most about it, was the shoe in the eye.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't see that in very many movies.
No.
It is 1992, and they are using the internet to make flight reservations, which,
Whoa!
again, is the real...
they were ahead of their time.
That seems wild.
Mm-hmm. the pervert from earlier in the movie that we forgot about to the rescue. And then I just wrote failed again pervert. I don't remember. Then it turns out the upstairs homosexual is alive.
What?
So that's, yeah. And then she stabbed her in the tit.
Oh.
But I do remember Hedwig getting stabbed in the tit.
I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
they were fighting in the storage area downstairs.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Then someone threw a rat at someone.
Ah!
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I just have death from above.
Maybe the best part of this is trying to decipher what
Yeah.
Heath of whatever a year ago was thinking.
I can mail out copies of my notes
Yes.
to everyone, and they
With
can
the VHS
yeah, with
tape,
the VHS
yeah.
of Single White Female, and you can see if my notes are match
Do you
up.
think if you kept running commentaries of all movies, there would be like a boobs count, like with this one?
I think so.
And then
I think there should be.
Yeah.
I don't watch movies without boobs in them, to be honest with you.
Honestly.
No, I pictured a book by Heath because last time we talked about him reviewing movies. That's
Yes.
just bullet points of movies, but at the top is a boob number.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
A boob count.
Boob
Yeah.
count. There we go.
Yeah. There's a magazine called Bust Magazine, and it's for women who want to get something off their chest. So it's a feminist magazine, and it's clever. Da, da, da. But their rating system, when they're rating albums and movies, is boobs. It's like little boobs. And 5 boobs is the best.
Yeah.
Because, if you don't have 5 boobs, you're missing out.
I was going to say, if you encounter 5 boobs
That's-
in the wild, I'd
That's
be
a
like,
lot
huh?
of boobs.
Yes.
Is this the right number?
This doesn't feel right.
Remember in Total Recall when that woman opened
Oh,
her
yeah.
shirt and there's like 3
Yeah.
boobs? Yeah, that was, random. I made a tactical error and did not create a backup for Batman Returns. So I'm done. I'm tapped out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
on to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to talk to you about a true crime situation in
Oh, boy.
1992. There was a few that were popular, but the one that I'm going to discuss today is John Gotti.
I knew you were going to do this one.
Yeah. Well, it was between him and Amy Fisher.
That was this year?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And all those movies they made
Oh,
about
my
Amy
God.
Fisher.
Yes.
Wasn't there 3 of them? Like every network made one, right?
Yes.
Who all played it? Because there were.
Drew Barrymore,
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Alyssa Milano,
Uh-huh.
and then I think the third one was not somebody that
wasn't
we knew
someone-
of. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
She was the hot topic.
Woo,
Yeah.
that was rough. So in 1992, in June, mafia boss John Gotti, who is nicknamed the Teflon Don, after escaping multiple trials throughout the 90s or 80s, excuse me, because he was able to intimidate witnesses and, they couldn't get anything to stick on him. They tried and tried and tried. And eventually, in 1992, he was actually sentenced on 14 counts. He was sentenced to life in prison for 14 counts of conspiracy to commit murder and racketeering. And part of the reason that he was eventually sentenced is, number one, the FBI agents that worked on it for so long had so much material that they had taped of him that he didn't realize. And what's really interesting about this is that he didn't realize he was being taped even after in other trials they used the tapes. He still thought that he had eradicated the tapes and the quote-unquote rats from his life, which was not true. And when they rearrested him, I've watched multiple documentaries and accounts of this, and the FBI agent that puts him in the car was like, "Oh no, we got you this time." And he kind of makes a joke like, "Yeah, right, I'm the Teflon Don, nothing sticks." And he's like, specifically says a room in the guy's house and is like, "We've got all the tapes from there." And it was the room in his house where he thought there was nothing, and he always spoke openly. And the FBI agent that's interviewed says, "I knew that he knew then," because he just, like, his whole body sank down and he just put his head down like, shit. If they have that, they have everything.
Wow.
But one of the things that he was killed, that he ended up on trial for, was killing like his secondhand person who had been very loyal to him. And after he ordered that hit, then other people turned on him and took him out. But he ended up dying of throat cancer in prison in like 2001, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he didn't
He didn't serve that much time then.
yeah. 2002, sorry. Yeah, throat cancer. Yeah, he didn't serve a ton of time, but there was like riots after he was found guilty. I mean, they had to put police barricades in because people were just over the top of like, he didn't do it. Like they were supporting him, even with all of this evidence. And even in the other trials and later coming out that witnesses said, oh no, we were definitely intimidated. We were threatened. Members of the jury, they were always able to get a jury member. And he was truly confident walking in that there was no way he was going to be found guilty. And then, wow.
This is very Trump coded.
That's why I brought it up, because it does feel that way with the like blind, just, oh no, there's no way he did this.
Right.
Yeah.
And talking out of both sides of your mouth that on one hand you're like, oh, we got to make New York safer. We got to stop with all this gang violence and mafia violence. But then on the other hand, we're not going to hold John Gotti responsible for any of that, even though he's clearly responsible for it. It's a very interesting, it made me think, oh, this is part of just the psyche of America. This just happens. We decide on this like folk hero for no reason and then blindly, oh, there's no way he did that. And he's like, oh no, I did it. You just can't prove it, basically. But a lot of credit, I think, gets kind of lost in, because Sammy the Bull turned on him and like he gets a lot of credit for taking him down. But I think what gets lost in the story a lot is those FBI agents that worked on his cases from the beginning and just continually going through those tapes, because it's not enough to have someone say something. They have to, in our justice system, they have to say it a certain way or make sure certain things are covered in order for it to be foolproof evidence that that's what happened. And to sit and listen all the time to someone like that speak, I mean, nonstop. I mean, they all talked about how much of an obsession it became because it was so much of their life. And they had put so much time and energy into trying to catch him. And then when they finally did, it was like this huge, like, oh,
what do I do with my life now?
But then the FBI agent said, you go home and you're excited, and then you realize, okay, well, who did we just crown as the next person? Because somebody's going to rise up to power, and what's this person going to do?
I didn't know. I thought, and again, I'm not a legal expert. I didn't think you could, if you were recording someone, I thought they had to know. Like, I didn't think you could secretly record someone and then use it in court.
Yeah, I don't know I think it's different in every state.
Okay.
I believe that in some states it's one party has to know. So like if you wire someone, that person knows, the other person doesn't have to know. Like there's a one way. In some states it's everyone has to know. But I don't know I don't know enough about that to know how they got around it or how they used it or how that all worked.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I know they did it like in TV and movies and stuff, but I also thought that was, a convenient plot device in TV and movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if they used some of it, to get the evidence, like to find out where the evidence was or to find out these things. And I want to say, now that we're talking about it, that has something to do with a warrant and a judge signing off that you have to get permission to wiretap or tape certain people, and then you can. It's kind of, but
I think didn't they make a movie out of this, like starring John Travolta? Like,
yes,
like a few years ago.
Oh my God!
Like all of 9 people went and saw. Like,
it was rough. Yeah.
Oh boy.
There's a really good documentary on Netflix about, I think it's called Catching Gotti, and it's really just about building the case against him and like what is a racketeering case. And it's interesting, like you mentioned, in light of Trump and some of that stuff. Like when the government says, okay, this has gone beyond just like normal levels of violence that we see in a mafia or gang, and how they go about building that case and how they knew that that's what they could get him on. I found that one really interesting just from a different perspective of the crimes and murders. And
that is interesting that, because obviously we talk a lot about pop culture and how like gangsters like that will be such important figures in our pop culture, and we'll create these mythologies around them, even knowing like like just thinking about Al Capone in the 20s and 30s in Chicago. Like he was responsible for so much brutal violence, but yet a lot of the city was behind him and thought it was great. And
well, it tells you what we place value on, right? Like this person's a businessman, so somehow that person becomes a gangster and a mafia and is cool. Whereas like a serial killer, they're weird and a misfit, so they're just a serial killer. But really, so is John Gotti. He was he is responsible for multiple murders. Yeah. And so, how do you, like, even Griselda, if you've seen that on Netflix about the Colombian drug lord who happened to be female, same idea, right? She doesn't get called a serial killer, but they think she's responsible for like 400 murders. I mean, it's a lot. But because she was an entrepreneur, that somehow, makes it okay. Like, that's part of business. You got to take out the competition.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like we haven't done enough in our lives because we haven't killed over 400 people?
We still got time.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Thanks for the pep
You've
talk.
raised 400 cats. Does that count?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You've raised 400 cats that can resuscitate people who get pushed out the
Oh
window.
my God, you're right.
Yeah, you're
By
saving lives.
people.
Yes.
Yes. Agreed.
Yes.
1,000%.
I'm making just cat women over here like nothing else. Whew. We learned a lot of lessons in 1992.
We did.
As per usual.
As per usual.
One of them being that if you dump your baby in the sewers, penguins will take care of them.
Uh-huh.
You said that so earnestly, like it was real. Yes. Yes. That's where I plan to put all my babies.
Yeah. And that when you put 7 strangers together in a loft, a whole series of decades of television is born.
Mm-hmm. They were real short-sighted on the real world to not put like a mutated penguin child in the cast.
God.
Yeah. They missed out.
They did.
Also, we learned that high heels at least serve one purpose, which is murder.
Murder.
Yep.
Murder.
It's good to know because I've got no use for high heels
Yeah.
other than that.
Other than murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been real, everybody. Good show. Good job.
Wow, I really
You did
felt
a good
that.
job. And you did a good job.
And
I
you did
a
a good job.
Yeah. Fuzzy Memories is a Broads and Books production. It's hosted by Heath Smith, Aaron Johnston, and Amy Lee Lillard. The show is produced by Amy Lee Lillard. Follow us at Fuzzy Memories Pod on Instagram for clips and highlights. And follow us at Broads and Books Productions for updates on new shows coming your way. See you next time. Sound check-in. All right.
Sound checks.
Will you speak into your microphone?
I will do that.
Okay, good, because it was just appearing as a nothing.
Oh, well.
Oh.
That's no good.
Up yours microphone.
Should we do a musical episode at some point?
Where we sing everything?
You could sing the Gem song.
Oh, yeah.
Taking a train.
Taking a train.
You could sing, you could do the J-Lo rapping.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to brush up, but
Yeah,
I will.
yeah.
I will.